Welcome to 40 Days with Jesus. This is day 11 out of our 40 days, and we're in a little different location. I'm actually in the central North Carolina. It's like 80 degrees, nice day, and it's snowing for us. Hey, listen, this is John chapter 6 again, and in John chapter 6, we're gonna go through the first 24 verses and today, and I'm just going to summarize so you can spend some time looking and studying. John chapter 6 picks up with Jesus taking the disciples, and he's heading towards a mountain. And in that process, a great crowd had followed him. And it says that when Jesus looked up, he saw the great crowd, and he had compassion on the great crowd of people. And he looked at Philip, and he said, "Give them something to eat." Philip, one of the disciples. And Philip was trying to figure this out. He says, "There's no way. It would cost 8 months' wages just to give everybody a bite. There's no way we can do this." And then Andrew, another disciple, comes to Jesus and says, "Hey, we got this little boy, and he's got 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes." And he offered that to Jesus. And I want you to get this. The boy offered his lunch, for whatever reason, offered his lunch to Jesus. And I often process this, maybe over-process this. Maybe the boy thought, Jesus is hungry. I just want to give Jesus something to eat. I don't know why he gave his lunch to Jesus, but Jesus took the lunch. And I believe you're familiar with the story. He fed 5,000 people that day. And we're not really sure whether it was actually just 5,000 people or 5,000 men, plus another 5 or 10,000 women and children. We don't know how many people it was, but Jesus fed a multitude, a great crowd of people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. Hey, what do you have to give to God? Maybe it seems like something simple, just like the little boy's lunch. What do you have to give to God, and how can he use it? Even if you feel like it's not something that's maybe worthy of God, he'll take the simple things and do miraculous things with them. After Jesus finished feeding the 5,000, there was 12 baskets of bread and fish left over. 12 baskets of food left over. Now, we don't know what happened to those baskets of food. Some people say, well, he had one for each of his 12 disciples. Everybody took lunch home for the next day, and maybe some people say, well, he gave it back to the little boy. We don't know. What we want to get out of this, though, is that Jesus took a little, and he fed a lot, and then he had a lot left over. And he can do the same thing with our lives. He can take what little we have to give, he'll use it, do miraculous things with it, and then we'll be blessed with all that's left over and how he wants to use us to change the world. Whatever you have to give, invest it in Christ, especially if you know he's asking for it. And then right after this happens, it says that when evening came, his disciples had gone down and got in a boat, and they were going across the lake, or across the water. It was called the Sea of Galilee, and everybody called it different names. Depending on which location you were from, where you're from, they would give it different names. But they got in the boat, was going across the water, and Jesus wasn't with them yet. Something weird happened while the disciples were on the lake. It says that a strong wind was blowing and the waters grew rough. Now, I don't know if they were afraid at this point, but things had gotten bad. These are guys who were fishermen. A lot of these guys were fishermen. They lived on the water, so they understood the water. They knew what could happen, and I don't know if it was water like this water, but at this point, things had gotten rough. And while this was going on, it says that they looked up and they saw somebody walking on the water towards them. And we knew it was Jesus, but it says that they were terrified. And Jesus said, "It is I. Don't be afraid." Then they took Jesus into the boat, and we jump a little further, and the next day it says that the crowd was looking for Jesus. The crowd that had just received food, 5,000 of them, just were looking for Jesus. Where is Jesus? And they realized Jesus had gotten a boat and went across the other side. So they chased after Jesus to the other side. And tomorrow we'll pick up with their conversation. But listen, this is what I want you to do. I want you to process, put maybe these two stories together. Jesus feeding with a little bit. Take what little you have, give it to God, and let him do something with it. And then you're going to hear Jesus say, because sometimes you're going to go, I just don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm the person. I don't know if I'm gifted enough. I don't know if I'm talented enough. Take what you have and give it to Jesus. And you may hear him say, "It is I. Don't be afraid." Because sometimes when he asks us to do things, we fear. But trust him and let him do what he wants to do in your life. He's going to do a miracle with you to change this world. So read chapter 6 of the Gospel of John, and I will see you tomorrow on 40 Days with Jesus.